What is the Museum of Failure, you might be wondering? Well, it's a collection of interesting innovation failures, and it now contains over 100 items from all around the world. The home base, as you see here, is in Sweden, and we also have a permanent site in Los Angeles. The world seems to be hungry for failures, so we also have a pop-up mini version of our museum on a world tour. In the museum, we have everything from failed technology to failed food products to failed medicine to failed business models, and we even have a special section dedicated to failed Donald Trump products. How innovative they are is, however, debatable. Why did we start this museum? Take a look at this. Our society is obsessed with success. We're constantly surrounded by this. Happy, shiny, successful people. We attribute immense value to success, and we tend to demonize failures. But the more we glorify success, the less attention we pay to failures, and we underestimate the learning opportunities that can come from them. The Museum of Failure helps us appreciate failures for what they truly are, excellent learning opportunities. The aim of the museum is to communicate and emphasize how important failure is for innovation. We wanted to open up a dialogue about failures and do it in a fun and entertaining way. Innovation is a tricky process. There are so many ways to fail, so many interesting ways to fail. We really hope that visitors to our museum will walk away with the message that you have to accept failure if you want any progress, and that maybe failure isn't something to be afraid of. We really hope that visitors, our museum will encourage people and companies to embrace failure in order to take meaningful risks. Okay, let's take a peek at the collection, shall we? How many in here have tried a Segway? Probably a few. Since Segways are still being sold and are still around, you might be wondering what it's doing at our museum. Well, as you see here, a failure is defined as a deviation from expected and desired results. The Segway was supposed to revolutionize the way we transport people. The expectations were huge. Some quotes. Segway will be to the car what the car was to the horse and cart. Segway will be more important than the internet. And my personal favorite, city infrastructures will be planned around the Segway. And of course, none of this happened. As a means of transport, the Segway flopped. It was a commercial failure because it was too impractical and expensive. And today they're mostly used as a fun group activity or by security guards in shopping malls. Up next we have Bic for Her. Take it in. As you all know, us women obviously can't use regular pens. So, in 2011, note, not 1911, but 2011, French pen producer Bic launched a series of pens especially designed to fit comfortably in our delicate little hands. The pens came in colors that we women like pink and purple, with glitter, of course. And these special pens were double the price of regular pens because women make twice as much money as men do, obviously. Needless to say, the launch was an instant flop, and consumers ridiculed this sexist product in terrible reviews. Bic for Her teaches us the immense importance of diversity in organizations. If Bic had women with a voice on their innovation teams, I don't think this product would ever have existed. Expectations were sky high in 2013 when Google launched these smart glasses. They had a built-in camera, voice controls, internet connectivity, and a revolutionary screen. People paid $1,500 for this futuristic gadget, and all of the hype made everyone think that this was a fully developed product. But it was nothing more than an expensive prototype without any useful applications. And, well, The built-in camera raised concerns about privacy issues. Turns out people simply don't like the idea of being secretly filmed. So Google became banned in public places like cafes, restaurants, and movie theaters, and the people who wore them were called glass holes. Google Glass teaches us that exciting new technology is not enough. For a product to be successful, it needs to be useful in some way. Speaking of not being useful, Coca-Cola spent 2 years developing this soda coffee concoction in the hopes of tapping into the growing premium coffee market. It was launched in 2006 and was aimed at the over 30, savvy, sophisticated achiever. Anyone in here match that description, perhaps? Well, we tasted it at the museum, and it's not that good. It lasted only 2 years on the market. But the story of Coca-Cola Black teaches us that even a gigantic corporation with enormous resources and deep consumer insights, like Coca-Cola, can fail just like the rest of us. Where would we be without Donald Trump? Probably better off, but with less items in our museum. This board game was launched in two times and also failed 2 times. It was inspired by Trump's real estate business and is about buying and selling real estate. Trump is everywhere in this game. His face is on the money, and the 2 most important cards are the Donald and you're fired. Or as one magazine review said, Trump basically took Monopoly money, stuck his face on it, and added a bunch of zeros. We tried playing it at the museum, and it feels like a really boring, complicated version of Monopoly. What does this teach us? I honestly don't know, but I do know that Trump is great material for a museum of failure. Speaking of great material for our museum, here we have a wonderful product born in the fat-free craze of the 1990s. In 1996, one of the world's largest consumer goods corporations thought that they'd found the holy grail of food technology, a calorie-free fat substitute. You can eat as many chips as you like without getting fat. Well, that's great, except that the side effects are diarrhea and stomach cramps. Olestra and the chips became known for causing anal leakage. From Olestra, we can learn of the great importance of doing plenty of product testing before a product is launched. So why is failure such a taboo topic? A while back, I made a wrong career decision, and I remember how embarrassed I felt. I'd failed, and I felt ashamed, and I didn't want to tell anyone about it. This is our normal human reaction to failure. Very, very few of us get everything right the first time around, yet our society consistently rewards success and penalizes failure. Why can't we be rewarded for trying to make sense of our failures and learning from them? We hear a lot about fail forward and we have to take risks, but at the end of the day, most of us and most organizations still have a hard time with learning from failure. Why? Because we're unwilling to admit it or discuss it. So in the end, we need to normalize failure in the organizational environment, or we'll never learn from it. But how do we create a culture where failure is accepted and we can learn from it? The answer is psychological safety, which is a team climate where it's okay to fail and be vulnerable without being punished by your team. It's a sense of confidence that your team won't embarrass you, criticize you, reject, or punish you for speaking up. You know you have a psychologically safe team when you feel safe to admit when you've made a mistake or that you don't know everything. Imagine there are 2 circus artists swinging on ropes high up from the ground. One has a safety net under him, and the other one doesn't. Which one do you think will try out the most daring tricks, try new things, and be more innovative? The one with the safety net or the one without? This is exactly what psychological safety is all about. An environment where people feel safe to fail. That's what it is. So, the aim of the Museum of Failure is to get us to reevaluate our relationship with failure and encourage us to talk about it and learn from it. So the next time your colleague or team member has the courage to be vulnerable and admit their failure, remember you can choose to be their safety net.